week that has seen Algeria's embattled president Abdelaziz Bouteflika concede after weeks of street protests and agree not to seek a fifth term to a cyclone that has sadly displaced hundreds of thousands and caused more than 200 fatalities and counting. In Mozambique, Africa Focus stands hand in hand with our brothers and sisters in Mozambique in this trying of moments. Before getting into the nuts and bolts of today's program, let's take a look at the stories we have in store for you today.
Taking charge. The Zimbabwean government reintroduces buses charging lower rates following widespread protests. LGBTQ rights. A gay Moroccan man lives in fear after footage of his arrest in Marrakesh on New Year's Eve goes viral. Saving the Imzad. Algerian women keep music tradition alive.
I'm Lenny Rashid, and our sign language interpreter is Teresia Washira. The main stories will be coming right after we take a look at the news that made the headlines around the continent.
The number of people killed in floods in southern Malawi has risen to 56, with the country now also on alert for an approaching tropical cyclone. Almost 83,000 people have been displaced by storms that began more than a week ago, caused rivers to break the banks, leaving villages underwater and knocked out power and water supplies in some areas. Now, Malawi has been put on alert for more rain and flooding as tropical cyclone Idai is expected to make landfall through Beira in neighboring Mozambique, the Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services said. The cyclone will dump heavy rains and winds over Mozambique before moving to southern Malawi and later Zimbabwe. Regions of Mozambique have also already been affected by flooding. Malawi's President Arthur Peter Mutharika has declared a state of disaster in southern Malawi. Ethiopian Transport Minister Dagomit Mogesa said that the DNA testing for the remains of 157 passengers on board Flight 302 may take up to 6 months. Dagomit Mogesa, who oversees the country's transport sector, also confirmed that a team of investigators in Paris have begun examining the black box recorders recovered from the site where the Boeing 737 MAX 8 plane crashed into a field on March 10th. The Ethiopian airline plane came down soon after takeoff from Addis Ababa, resulting in the deaths of 157 on board. Experts say it's too soon to know what caused the crash, but aviation authorities worldwide have grounded Boeing 737 MAX as concerns of the plane caused the company's share price to tumble by around 10%. Flight data has already indicated that some similarities with the crash by the same model of the plane during a Lion Air flight in October, where all 189 people died. Both planes crashed within minutes of takeoff after pilots reported problems. French President Emmanuel Macron and Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta outlined areas of cooperation such as counter-terrorism and climate change after their meeting in Nairobi. The two heads of state unveiled the Peugeot 3008, which was fully constructed on Kenyan soil by the PSA Group, before taking it for a test drive. French firms signed contracts in Kenya worth some €2 billion during Macron's visit. Macron's visit to Nairobi is the first by a French president since Kenya won independence from Britain in 1963 and follows stopovers in Ethiopia and Djibouti, all countries where China has moved in aggressively and presents stiff competition. Hundreds of thousands of people protested in central Algiers in the biggest demonstration against President Abdelaziz Bouteflika's 20 years rule since unrest began last month. Protesters crammed streets and squares in the capital after Friday prayers, many draped in Algeria's green, white and red flag. Demonstrations also took place in Bejaia, Oran, Batna, Tizi Ouzou and other cities. A statement from the Algerian National Police, DGSN, said it arrested people involved in vandalism, theft and destruction of public and private property. No heavy clashes were reported, but the authorities said some 75 protesters were arrested and 11 policemen were slightly injured during the demonstrations. On 11th March, Bouteflika reversed a decision to stand for another term after weeks of demonstrations against him, but he stopped short of relinquishing office and said he will stay on until a new constitution is adopted. Algerians quickly rejected this offer and demanded that the 82-year-old president hand over power to a young generation of leaders who can create jobs and stamp out corruption. Californian group Red Hot Chili Peppers played in front of Egypt's Great Pyramids of Giza, entertaining more than 10,000 people at the site and many more over a live stream link. The concert, held under tight security, was promoted by Egypt's tourism ministry, which is trying to put the country back on the map as a prime destination after an uprising in 2011 and years of subsequent turmoil scared many visitors away. It's the first international gig to be held at the ancient site since pianist Yanni in 2015. Fans traveled from 67 countries, said concert organizer Karim El Shiati, vice chairman of Trafco Group. Red Hot Chili Peppers have sold more than 60 million albums, won 6 Grammy Awards, and were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2012. The band is currently on a world tour working to complete the 12th album following the release of The Gateway.
In 1991, Somali's president, Mohamed Siad Barre, was toppled by rival clan militias. Since then, the Horn of Africa country has known no peace. In 2007, the African Union mission in Somalia was mandated by the African Union as a regional peacekeeping mission. A joint delegation from the AU and the UN is in Somalia to assess progress made in implementing the Somalia Transition Plan, whose key objective is the transfer of security responsibility from AMISOM to Somali National Security Forces.
A joint delegation from the African Union and the United Nations arrived in the Somali capital on Wednesday to assess progress made in implementing the Somalia Transition Plan, whose key objective is a transfer of security responsibility from the African Union mission in Somalia, AMISOM, to Somali National Security Forces. The delegation will evaluate steps taken by the AU mission in implementing tasks under the transition plan as mandated by the UN Security Council Resolution and African Union Peace and Security Council Communique.
The objective of this meeting is really to hear the views of our partners as we set off in this review and to kind of have as many inputs as possible.
They will also hold discussions and analyze Somalia's political and security situation as the country prepares for one person, one vote elections in the 2020-2021 period.
This is an important opportunity for us to share with you the way we look at things and also listen to you and get to know your views and your concerns, and most importantly, the way you think could be the way forward in our joint effort to help Somalia recover peace and stability.
The visiting delegation will also seek, among other issues, to establish challenges the AU mission faces, the status of the implementation of the recommendation of the AMISOM operational readiness assessment, and preliminary impact of the reduction of AMISOM troops.
These two councils gave the mandate, some tasks they issued to this mission, and the joint review will definitely be looking at those mandates which have been given to this mission, but special focusing on Somali Transition Plan.
The UN Resolution 2431/2018 authorized the reduction of uniformed AMISOM personnel by 1,000 by the end of February this year. The resolution also mandated AMISOM to maintain a minimum of 1,040 police personnel, including 5 formed police units. The communique, on the other hand, called for an assessment to be carried out on the state and effectiveness of AMISOM reconfiguration and its support to the transition process. It also sanctioned the development of a new concept of operations, CONOPS, aligned to the implementation of the transition plan.
Zimbabwe's government has reintroduced buses charging lower fares following widespread protests triggered by an increase in fuel prices. The fuel increase resulted in a massive hike in fares by commuter taxis. The move, which also targets other towns and cities, is part of a broader plan to review the urban mass transport system in the country.
An overjoyed Zimbabwean passenger, Shilok Zimbada, screams with joy as he boards a bus from downtown Harare to the township of Mudiriro. The fare has been slashed to a third of what he paid last week. It's the result of government action after a nationwide demonstration over fuel hikes early last month. In a country suffering from spiraling inflation and regular shortages of necessities. Following international criticism of its brutal put-down of the protest, the government has scrambled to revive its public transport company Zubco after years of mismanagement and corruption.
We are happy with what the government has done and we wish for it to continue. The commuter taxi should be put off the road and we are very happy.
Zimbabweans took to the street in several cities and towns after President Emerson Mnangagwa announced on January 12th that fuel prices were being more than doubled. Rioting and looting followed before soldiers and police brutally put down the protest at the expense of at least 12 lives, with hundreds being injured. The Zubco revival means passengers can pay just $1 on a bus rather than the $3 recently charged by many buses run by private operators known as Kombis.
Very free, not even a problem. We just boarded the bus and paying $3 has come to an end. It is now a thing of the past.
Zimbabweans have in the recent months seen prices spiral up to fourfold in some instances. Inflation is formally at 42%, the highest in a decade, but in reality it's far higher. The government said the reintroduction of the state-run commuter services was to bring order to the industry dominated by Kombis for decades.
The government only subsidizes fuel for the buses and they should do the same for our small commuter taxis. After all, we are the same as the bus companies.
On the streets, however, security forces continue to patrol amid reports of ongoing violence, with more than 1,100 people arrested. Less than 10% of the employable population have formal jobs and most of those are in government. Government workers have also threatened to down tools if their demands for better salaries are not met. But economists warn that if government bows to the civil servants' demands, the economy could suffer even more serious inflationary pressures.
Coming up after the break, Tanzanian woman hopes to juggle soccer balls to a better life.
Don't go away. We'll be right back. Keep it switched. Welcome back to Africa Focus. In case you've just joined us, our sign language interpreter is Teresia Washira. Now, Chafiq Lafrid's life became a living nightmare after footage of his arrest in Marrakesh on New Year's Eve wearing a dress and a wig went viral on social media. Official figures show that in 2017, 197 people were prosecuted under Article 489 of the Moroccan Penal Code, which deals with homosexuality.
Chafiq Lafrid's life has become a nightmare since footage of his arrest in Marrakesh on New Year's Eve, wearing a dress and a wig, went viral on social media. Homosexuality is illegal in Morocco, and the 33-year-old, who occasionally dresses in women's clothes, had until that night kept secret the fact that he is gay. Until that is, he was detained after a minor traffic accident.
When I got into the accident, I was wearing an evening gown, a wig, and makeup. This was the reason why I did not want to get out of the car when the police officers arrived.
Footage of his arrest has been seen millions of times online. Handcuffed, barefoot and wearing a short blue dress, he is escorted by police as a crowd of onlookers film and insult him. The police do nothing to intervene. Minutes earlier, Lafrid, an administrator at a private medical clinic, had been returning home from a party in Morocco's tourist capital. He was driving along a busy avenue when his scooter slammed into his car. A police officer arrived at the scene and ordered him to step out of the vehicle, but Lafrid refused. Wearing a lace dress, a curly long wig and makeup, he was afraid of how the crowd of onlookers might react. Mistreated by the police and then attacked online, he says he now wants to immigrate as he fears for his safety.
My life changed. Before I went out normally, I lived my life quietly. I went for a coffee, I did my shopping. Today, I cannot do that anymore because people insult me on the street since all my personal documents were disclosed on the internet.
On the fateful day when Shafiq was arrested in Marrakesh on New Year's Eve, a journalist for a Marrakesh news website who was accompanying the police patrol filmed the scene. But the next day, images of his arrest, the photos taken by the police, and his personal documents went viral on social media.
Today, I'm looking for a solution that allows me to leave Morocco, to go to a country that respects human rights, the rights of different people, and respects individuals like me so that I can start a new life.
Lafrid has sought help from a local campaign group, the Alternative Movement for Individual Freedoms. Ibtisam Lachgar, the movement's joint coordinator, said Lafrid's experience reflects the homophobia in Moroccan society and in the state.
Sadly, homophobia is something we see every day here in Morocco. Many LGBT people are seeking asylum and many of them have already left.
Moroccan society remains torn between religious conservatism and modernity, and while LGBT people there live in less fear than in other parts of the region, they are still targeted by authorities.
It should be known that Article 489 of the Moroccan Penal Code condemns sexual relations between people of the same sex.
Lafrid says his relationship with his parents, who had no idea about his secret life, has been destroyed, and he feels humiliated and in shock. After consulting a psychiatrist, he was granted a month's sick leave for depression. The Moroccan police have since sanctioned 4 Marrakesh officers for breach of professional obligations over the leaking of Lafrid's identity.
Creative writing can be a very draining process. It is with this in mind that Egyptian novelist Huda Anwar founded a 3-day getaway where authors like her can get inspiration from nature. Since inception, 12 retreats have taken place in various locations in Egypt, and almost 100 writers have attended the retreats since they started.
At an eco-lodge in a desert town northeast of Cairo, a dozen Egyptian novelists and authors sit and read written thoughts, hoping to find inspiration in the nature and seclusion. Some travel many kilometers to escape the city life and attend a writing retreat that aims to teach them how to overcome a creative slowdown or a writer's block.
I love writing. I don't like reading, but I like writing and expressing what is inside me. This is beneficial for me because I want to bring to others what is inside of me. I want to bring out all my ideas.
The retreat also aims to give the authors the courage and confidence to express themselves without fear of criticism.
It is the first time for me in Wadi El Natron, so I was very excited about the place.
Founded in 2017, the 3-day getaway was formed by novelist Huda Anwar after finding her own writing motivation in nature while visiting the Sinai Mountains of St. Catherine.
I understood the value of the effect of places on writing from my trips to St. Catherine. My travels to the mountains and to the places that have no artificial aspects whatsoever has had an effect on me, which made me realize the effect that such places would have on other people.
At the retreat, they experienced group readings, individual readings, and rounds of sharing personal experiences. Therapeutic in nature, the eventual aim is to equip writers with the means of fighting life pressures to continue writing.
This is why we are doing the Writers' Retreat. The Writing Retreat tackles the psychological and life challenges that a writer may face. These challenges are many. Every amateur, mid-level, or professional writer always faces psychological and life problems that affect their writing.
12 previous retreats have taken place in different areas across Egypt, and almost 100 writers have attended the retreat since it started. In addition to publishing almost 20 books, previous writers who finished the retreat have now formed a club which provides support to help publish new members. No conditions are needed for one to attend the retreat except a passion for writing and a proven ability to write.
A single-string violin played only by Tuareg women is making a comeback in Algeria as the last of its players come to the rescue of a tradition on the verge of extinction. Let's listen in on this musical story.
This is the sound of the imzad, a single-string violin played exclusively by Tuareg women in Algeria. According to an old belief, men risk a curse if they play it. The instrument has gone out of fashion among the young, so Khawlan Alamin has set herself the mission of reviving it.
Young people are only interested in television and the telephone these days. When I was younger, I lived in the desert. We took the time to learn to play and enjoy the instrument.
The instrument's discreet, refined lament traditionally accompanies poetic songs about the feats of past heroes. It was also played at courtship meetings, lasting long into the night. By the early 2000s, only 2 women in Algeria still played the unique instrument. But in 2003, Save the Imzad Association was launched, and now the instrument's even on the UNESCO Cultural Heritage List.
For us as Tuaregs, the Imzad is the best instrument. It's an expression of history, of violence, peace. It expresses our culture.
The association boasts a recording studio, a dance studio, a stage for performances, and a workshop for making imzads.
When I first arrived here, I met a woman called Sebt who used to make imzads before I did. I watched what she was doing very carefully until I started to make them myself.
The dried out half of a calabash shell is sometimes even picked from the center's own garden. The work here ensuring the music of the Algerian desert will stand the test of time.
29-year-old Hadhara Charles Mjeje is a juggler who charges about $5 for her street performances. A former footballer, her mastery of the art has earned her trips to other African countries. Mjeje has earned rave reviews from a bevy of international celebrities, including journalist and former talent show judge Piers Morgan and American President Donald Trump.
A small crowd gathers on a side street in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania's commercial capital. They are here to watch Hadhara Mjeje display the keep up his skills featured in a viral video that has been making the social media rounds in recent weeks. She fell in love with soccer as a child, but developed a respiratory condition that kept her off the pitch. Her frustration at being sidelined while watching others play kicked off her fascination with juggling.
Mimi nimeanza kuchezea maganda ya machungwa. Yaani nilikuwa napenda.
I started juggling using orange peels and I liked it a lot. I watched Ronaldo and Messi. They inspired me. I used orange peels, then a handmade football, and then finally a proper football.
Mpaka sasa unapoona hapa natumia gozi.
Mjeje's natural talent, dedication and ability to entertain the crowd soon drew the attention of event promoters in Tanzania and other countries like Malawi, where the potentially life-changing video was shot. Garnering millions of views and thousands of likes and retweets, her talent received a huge praise from the United States President Donald Trump, who shared the video with the comment, "Amazing." Her astonishing keep-up skills had some social media users suggest that supernatural powers were behind Hadhara's mesmerizing routine. Hadhara, however, denied the rumors and insisted that her brilliant ball workout was the result of years of training. Mjeje has also earned the grudging respect of many male football players.
Hiyo video nilikuwa Malawi.
The video was posted on social media by journalists from Malawi TV. I would like to give thanks to the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, for acknowledging my talent. He supported me and I am very grateful.
Donald Trump kwa kusapoti kipaji changu. Kwa kweli namshukuru sana.
Some Tanzanian women are calling her an inspiration and want the country's leaders to take notice. The years of practice may soon pay off. Mjeje is waiting to hear if a sponsorship deal that could mean a better life for her and her 2 sons has gone through.
Huyu sister mimi mwenyewe nimemcheki hadi nimejiogopa na sina control kumfikia yeye. Kwa ni mtu anakubalika kimataifa na tuzidi kumpa akubalike kimataifa. Ukweli tuseme ukweli.
Viongozi wafati wasiendeleze mipira ya wanaume na wanawake pia wanaokuwepo majumbani pia wasapoti. Mheshimiwa Magufuli, umwangalie huyu msichana. Ni kipaji kilichokuwa kamilifu, kisichokuwa na teteleko wala kitu chochote. Amechukua mwenye mazoezi yake na anafurahisha. Sisi tumemwona kwenye TV na pia sisi akina mama wapita njia au wa majumbani tunamsapoti.
In the meantime, she's using her head and has continued to post videos online to draw more fans and potential sponsors.
On Africa Focus, we love hearing from you, so make sure you get interactive with us on our various social media pages. Remember, you can view this program along with our wide array of other programs on DSTV channel 268. On behalf of the entire team here on Africa Focus and the wonderful journalists across the continent, thank you for keeping us company on this exciting journey. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.